Speak English like a native. Unlock idioms and slang. Introduction. Do you want to walk into a room with English speakers and chat easily? Imagine understanding every joke and quick comment. Then you can answer with confidence. For many learning English, this feels far away. You have worked hard. You learn grammar rules and memorized words. But sometimes, when you speak, it feels a bit stiff. It is like reading from a book. Your sentences are correct, but they do not sound smooth. They do not sound like people who grew up speaking English. This difference between knowing rules and speaking well is a common problem. So, how can you sound more like someone who speaks English naturally? It is not just knowing more words. It is about understanding the colorful, lively parts of the language. These parts are not always in books. They are idioms and slang. Think of idioms as special phrases. The words together mean something different from what each word means alone. For example, if someone says it's raining cats and dogs, they do not mean animals are falling from the sky. They just mean it is raining very hard. Slang is casual, everyday language. Groups of people use it, especially young people. It keeps English feeling new and real. These phrases, idioms and slang, are the missing pieces. They help you speak English in a truly natural and real way. Learning idioms and slang is very important for many reasons. First, it helps you understand English much better. When you hear them in movies, on TV, or in talks, you will not be confused. You will get the real meaning. Second, and this is very exciting, they change how you speak. Using idioms and slang makes your English sound more natural and real. It helps your talks flow smoothly, like you hear native speakers. This is about going past basic words. It is about understanding the culture and the feeling behind the words. They can seem a bit tricky at first. They can seem like a secret code. But do not worry. This book will help you understand them easily and use them with confidence. This book is your friendly guide. It will help you unlock the power of English idioms and slang. Our simple goal is to help you go from speaking okay English to speaking English truly smoothly and naturally. By learning these special phrases, you will start to understand everyday talks, movies, and music much better. You will find yourself speaking with more confidence and style. You will sound much more like a native speaker. You will be able to handle social times more easily. You will truly enjoy the fun and richness of the English language. We will look at common idioms and slang. We will explain their meanings clearly. We will show you how to use them with real examples. We will go step by step. This will make learning fun and work well. Are you ready to make your English better? Do you want to speak with the naturalness and realness you have always wanted? Learning idioms and slang is a key step on that path. It is not just possible, it is an exciting and good journey. It will help you become the confident, natural English speaker you want to be. Let's start this adventure together. Why idioms and slang matter. Imagine you are at a party. Someone tells a funny story. Everyone laughs, but you just nod and smile. You don't really get the joke. Or maybe you watch your favorite TV show. A character says something that makes others gasp or cheer, but you wonder why it's a big deal. This often happens when you only know the basic words in a language. English has a secret way of speaking that makes talking lively and real. This secret way is made of word phrases that have special meanings, idioms, and casual word slang. Idioms and slang are special word groups in English. Their meaning is not what the single words say. People who speak English all the time use them in everyday talk. Learning these helps you understand English better and sound more natural. They are important for good talking because they make conversations flow and sound like how people really speak. Think of it like this. If you only learn words from a book, You are like a cook who only knows how to cut vegetables. You can make food, but you can't make a tasty, exciting meal. Idioms and slang are like the spices and herbs that make plain food taste amazing. They make English sound alive and interesting. More than just words. The heart of natural talking. When you start learning English, you learn words one by one. Apple means a fruit. Run means to move fast with your legs. This is important. But English, like other languages, has phrases where the meaning isn't found by looking at each word alone. These are called idioms. For example, if someone tells you to break a leg, they don't want you to hurt yourself. They want you to have good luck. If you said, "I hope you break your leg," to an actor before they go on stage, they would be confused, maybe even mad. This is because break a leg is an idiom. Its meaning is not what the words literally say. Native English speakers use these kinds of phrases all the time. They help conversations flow. When you hear them, you understand the real meaning right away. When you use them, you sound like you fit in, like you are part of the talk. If you only use the basic, word-for-word meanings, your English will sound very careful, very slow, and a bit like a robot. It can be hard for native speakers to understand the deeper meaning or feeling behind what you say. Think about the phrase "it's raining cats and dogs." If you imagine cats and dogs falling from the sky, it's a weird picture. But everyone who speaks English knows this means it's raining very, very hard. You can't figure this out from the words themselves. It's a special phrase with a special meaning. This is why learning phrases that don't mean exactly what the words say is so important. It's not just about knowing more words. It's about understanding how language is really used. It's about understanding the shortcuts and special phrases that make English flow. Without them, you miss a big part of how people talk every day. Understanding better. Figuring out what native speakers mean. Have you ever felt lost when watching an English movie or TV show? Or when listening to an English song? Often, the reason is idioms and slang. These phrases are everywhere in popular culture. Imagine you're watching a funny show. The characters talk fast, using slang, making jokes with idioms. If you don't know these phrases, you miss the funny part. You don't get why it's funny. You might laugh with everyone else, but you feel a bit left out. This can be annoying. You know the basic words, you can follow the story, but you're not truly getting it. This is what the book means when it says idioms and slang helps you understand English better. It's not just about understanding single words. It's about understanding the whole message, the feelings, and the cultural ideas that come with these special phrases. Let's say a character in a movie says, "Don't worry, I've got your back." If you don't know this idiom, you might think they are going to stand behind you. But the real meaning is "I will help you" or "I will support you." Knowing this small phrase completely changes how you see the situation and what the character means. Slang is used a lot in casual settings, like with friends or in informal media. Words like cool, awesome, hang out, or "what's up" are slang. They are used by younger people and in casual situations. If you only use formal English, you might sound a bit stiff when talking to friends. But if you know slang, you can follow their talks and even join in. If you don't know these phrases, you are always trying to change everything to its basic meaning. This makes you slow. It makes you feel confused. You might miss important details or not understand the mood of a talk. It's like trying to read a book with half the pages missing. You can guess some of the story, but you'll never know what really happened. Sounding natural, talking like native speakers. A big goal for many English learners is to sound like someone who grew up speaking English. This doesn't mean you have to change your accent completely, but it does mean talking in a way that feels natural and smooth. This is where idioms and slang are very important. When you start using these phrases correctly, your English stops sounding like it's from a book. It starts sounding like the English real people use every day. This is what the book means by making your talking more natural and more real. Think about how you speak in your own language. You probably use many idioms and slang words without even thinking. You don't stop to think, is this too casual? Or does this sound like a dictionary? You use the words that feel right for the situation. When you can do the same in English, it shows you are going beyond just knowing the rules. You are starting to feel the language. You are becoming more comfortable and sure of yourself. For example, instead of always saying I am very tired, you could sometimes say I'm beat or I'm wiped out. These are slang words that mean very tired. Using them makes your speech more interesting and less the same. It shows you have more ways to say things. The opposite of this is when a learner's English sounds very stiff. They might use perfect grammar, but without natural phrases, it feels a bit like they are reading from a paper. Native speakers can often tell the difference. They might think, this person speaks very good English, but they don't sound like they grew up here. This is not a bad thing, it's just how language learning works. Being fluent isn't just about grammar and words. It's about rhythm, flow, and using the language in a way that feels natural to its speakers. Idioms and slang are a big part of that natural flow. They help you connect with the rhythm of everyday English talk. Making friends, the social power of language. Language is not just for sharing facts, it's also for connecting with people. Idioms and slang are strong tools for building friendships and creating a feeling of belonging. When you use an idiom, or a slang word that many people know, you are showing that you understand their culture and how they talk. It's like saying, I am part of this group. I understand. This can make people feel more relaxed with you and more willing to talk with you. Imagine you meet a new coworker. You both want to get to know each other. If you can use a few common, friendly slang words or idioms, it can help start the conversation. For example, if they say, I'm really swamped with work this week, meaning very busy, and you reply, oh, me too. It's crazy. You are showing you understand their problem and you feel the same. This creates a quick connection. On the other hand, if you only use very formal English, you might seem a bit far away or not easy to talk to. It's not that you're doing anything wrong, but you might not be creating the same warm, friendly feeling. Using slang and idioms correctly shows that you are not just learning English as a school subject, but you are joining in with the culture of English speakers. It means you are in on the joke, even if the joke isn't about something funny. It shows you are paying attention to how people talk to each other and you want to be part of that. This can be very helpful in social situations. If you're at a party or a casual meeting, using the right slang can help you fit in and make friends more easily. It makes talks feel more relaxed and fun. It helps you feel less like an outsider and more like someone who is there. What happens if you ignore idioms and slang? So, what really happens if you decide to skip learning idioms and slang and just stick to basic words and grammar? The results can be quite big, affecting how you understand, how you talk to others, and how fluent you seem. First, your understanding will be hurt. As we've talked about, native speakers use these phrases all the time. If you only understand the basic meaning of words, you will be confused all the time. You'll miss jokes, not understand instructions, and find it hard to follow casual talks. You might find yourself asking, what did they mean by that? This can be tiring and make you feel bad. It's like trying to listen to music with half the instruments missing. You can hear some of it, but that full beauty and feeling are gone. Second, your social talks will be affected. Language is a tool for being social. When you can't understand or use common idioms and slang, it can create a wall between you and native speakers. You might seem less friendly or harder to approach because you're not using the language the way they naturally do. Building closeness becomes harder because you're not on the same page. You might feel alone in talks, even when you know the words being said. This can lead to less confidence and not wanting to join in social situations. Third, how fluent you seem will be lower. Even if your grammar is perfect, if you don't use idioms and slang, your English will sound not natural. Native speakers might say your English is correct, but stiff or like a robot. They might understand you, but they won't feel like you are truly fluent like they are. This can stop you from getting chances, whether in personal friendships or work, where a more natural and confident way of using the language is valued. You might be able to say the right things, but you won't necessarily sound like you belong. How often they are used, why they matter so much. You might wonder how often these phrases are really used. The truth is, idioms and slang are used very, very often in everyday English talks. It's not just a few phrases here and there, they are part of how people communicate. Think about a normal day for someone who speaks English. In the morning, they might check the news and hear a reporter say a politician is walking a tightrope, meaning in a difficult situation on an issue. At work, a coworker might say, "Let's not beat around the bush," meaning let's get to the point. What's the main problem? Or "I'm feeling under the weather today," meaning not feeling well. During lunch, friends might be catching up, talking about what's happened and sharing news, maybe saying something is a piece of cake very easy to do, or that they're burning the midnight oil working late to finish a project. In the evening, they might watch a TV show where characters are pulling someone's leg, joking with someone, or saying they hit the nail on the head, said exactly the right thing. Even simple greetings like "What's up?" or "How's it going?" are casual and can be considered part of casual slang. These are just a few examples, and they happen all the time. If you recorded a normal talk between friends, you would find that a lot of the language used isn't just about the basic meaning of the words. These phrases add color, feeling, and speed to talking. They let speakers share big ideas or feelings in a short and easy to understand way. The huge amount of times they are used means that if you are trying to understand or speak English naturally, you must learn them. They are not just extra things to learn. They are basic for understanding and joining in real talks. They are the everyday language of native speakers, and by learning them, you are learning to speak English not just correctly, but also naturally and with meaning. Understanding why idioms and slang are so important is the first step. Now, let's look at the interesting world of how these phrases are made and the different types you will find, so you can start using them confidently in your own English. Sounding like a native speaker. Have you ever heard someone speak English and it sounds really smooth and easy, like they were born speaking it? That's what we're talking about. It's not just knowing many English words. It's using them in a way that feels natural, like someone who speaks English as their first language. This is where phrases and slang become very helpful. Think about it. When you learn a language from a book, you learn the rules and the basic words. That's like learning to build a house by reading about bricks and cement. You know the parts, but you don't know how to make it a nice home. Phrases and slang are like the decorations and the comfy furniture. They make your English sound alive and real, not like something from a book. Let's tell a short story. When I was first learning English, I met a friend named Maria. She was from Italy and spoke English very well. But sometimes, people looked confused when she spoke. One day, we were talking about a hard project at work. I said, "This project is really tough." Maria nodded and said, "Yes, it's very hard. We are really in the soup." I stopped. In the soup? I imagined Maria in a big bowl of tomato soup. It was a funny thought, but it didn't make sense. I knew soup was food, but in the soup clearly didn't mean she was swimming in it. I was too shy to ask, so I just nodded, pretending I understood. Later, I learned that in the soup means being in trouble or in a difficult situation. Maria was using a phrase and I didn't understand it at all. It showed me how important it is to understand these special phrases if you want to really connect with English speakers. It wasn't just knowing the words, it was understanding what they really meant, the meaning that native speakers use all the time without even thinking. More than just the words. This is the first, most important thing to remember about phrases and slang. You should not try to understand them word by word. If you try to translate them directly, you will get funny, confusing, or even embarrassing meanings. For example, think about the phrase to kick the bucket. If you hear this, do you think of someone actually kicking a bucket? Probably not if you've heard it before. But if you haven't, you might. What does it really mean? It means to die. So, if someone says, "My old car finally kicked the bucket," they just mean their car stopped working completely. They aren't saying they kicked it. This is exactly what the main idea of phrases and slang tells us. Phrases and slang are special types of words and groups of words in English that do not mean exactly what the individual words suggest. They have a hidden, deeper meaning. Native speakers grow up hearing these phrases used by their families and friends. They learn the meaning naturally, just like they learn that dog means a furry animal that barks. For them, kick the bucket means to die, just as easily as dog means a dog. When you learn these phrases and understand their deeper meaning, you start to speak like a native speaker, because you are using language the same way they do, not just with words, but with a deeper, understood meaning. You go past the simple, direct meaning of words and enter the richer world of how English is truly spoken. The secret spice of speaking well. So, why are phrases and slang so important for sounding like a native speaker? They are the secret spice that makes your English go from good to great, from understandable to truly fluent. Imagine you are at a party. A native speaker might say, "I was so nervous about giving that presentation, but it turned out to be a piece of cake." You understand piece of cake means it was easy. This makes the conversation flow. Now imagine you wanted to say the same thing but didn't know that phrase. You might say, "I was very worried about the presentation, but it was very simple to do." It's correct, yes. But it sounds a bit stiff, a bit too formal. It doesn't have that natural, easy rhythm. Using phrases like piece of cake or walk in the park another way to say something is very easy, makes your speaking sound more lively and relaxed. It shows you are comfortable with the language. It's like adding a little spice to your cooking. The basic ingredients are there, but the spice makes it interesting and tasty. Phrases and slang are the spices of English conversation. They make your speaking more colorful, more interesting, and, most importantly, more natural. This is what the main idea of this book is all about: to understand and use English phrases and slang is essential for speaking English naturally and truly, moving past basic words to achieve real communication. When you start using these phrases, you are not just adding words, you are adding a naturalness that is hard to get otherwise. You are unlocking that native speaker sound. Understanding culture through language. Phrases and slang are more than just words, they are like little windows into the culture they come from. When you use them correctly, you show that you understand not just the English language, but also the people who speak it. Think about the phrase to spill the beans. It means to tell a secret. Where does this come from? There are many ideas, but one popular one involves ancient Greek ways of voting where beans were used. If you spilled them, the secret of how people voted was revealed. Whether this story is true or not, The phrase carries a history and a cultural background. When a native speaker uses spill the beans, they might think about that history, or they might not think about it at all. It's just part of their language. But for you, learning this phrase is like learning a small piece of cultural history. It helps you understand why people say things the way they do. Using phrases and slang can also help you understand humor. Many jokes and funny situations in English depend on playing with words, double meanings, or cultural references that are often found in phrases and slang. If you don't know these expressions, you might miss the joke completely, just like Maria didn't understand in the soup at first. When you start to understand and use them, you begin to get the jokes, and that's a big step toward feeling like you belong. This connection between language and culture is very important. It's about understanding the unspoken rules, the shared experiences, and the way people think and feel. Phrases and slang are deeply connected to this cultural background. By learning them, you are not just learning words, you are becoming part of the culture, and that's a key part of sounding like a native speaker. Connecting with people and building trust. Have you ever felt like you were speaking English, but the person you were talking to didn't quite connect with you? Sometimes, this happens because the language feels too formal or too far away. Using the right phrases and slang can help close this gap and build a stronger connection. When you are talking to someone and you use a phrase they recognize and use themselves, it creates a feeling of shared understanding. It's like finding a friend in a new place. If you're talking about a difficult situation and say, "Yeah, it's tough, we're really up against it," and the other person replies, "I know, it feels like we're banging our heads against a wall," you immediately feel a connection. You both understand the struggle and you've used similar language to say it. This makes the conversation feel more personal and less like a formal talk. This is especially true in casual situations. If you're chatting with friends during a break or talking to friends, using some common slang or phrases can make you seem more friendly and easy to talk to. It shows that you are comfortable in this social setting and can communicate on a more personal level. This builds rapport, that feeling of trust and understanding between people. However, it's important to use them correctly and in the right situations. Using a phrase wrongly or using slang that's too informal for the setting can have the opposite effect. It can make you sound awkward or even rude. But when used thoughtfully, phrases and slang are powerful tools for building relationships. They help you connect with people on a deeper level, making conversations smoother, more enjoyable, and more real. Avoiding the textbook sound. Many English learners start with textbooks. Textbooks are great for building a basic understanding. They teach you grammar rules and common words. But the English in textbooks is often very formal and doesn't always show how people actually speak every day. For example, a textbook might teach you to say, "It is my intention to procure sustenance." This is grammatically correct, but no native speaker would say that. They would say, "I'm going to get some food," or "I need to eat something." The textbook phrase sounds like a robot and unnatural. Phrases and slang are the answer to this textbook sound. They are the natural, spontaneous expressions that native speakers use every day. When you start using them, you begin to drop that formal, stiff way of talking. You start to sound more like the people you see on TV shows, in movies, or when you meet native speakers. Think about the difference between saying, "I am experiencing a state of great happiness," versus "I'm over the moon." The second one, using the phrase, is so much more lively and natural. It means the same thing, but with feeling and a rhythm that sounds familiar to a native speaker. The key is to learn which phrases and slang are common and right for different situations. Not all slang is good for all situations. Some slang is very specific to certain groups or ages, and using it wrongly can make you stand out for the wrong reasons. The goal isn't to use every slang word you hear, but to understand and use the common, widely accepted phrases and slang that help you sound natural and fluent. By doing this, you are actively moving away from that stiff, textbook English and embracing the lively, living language that native speakers use. The small differences in context, when and how to use them now. Let's look a little closer at a really important question. How does the situation change whether a phrase or slang word makes you sound more or less like a native speaker? This is where the real skill comes in. Imagine you are in a very formal business meeting. The boss is talking about important company matters. If you were to suddenly say, "This deal is totally awesome, it's going to knock their socks off," while you might get a smile, you would likely also get some confused looks. Awesome is common slang, and knock their socks off is a phrase meaning to impress someone greatly. Both are correct in meaning, but in this very formal situation, they don't fit. They might make you sound less professional, not more like a native speaker in that specific situation. Instead, in that same meeting, a native speaker might say, "I believe this proposal has a great chance of impressing our clients," or "This agreement could be very helpful." These phrases are formal, clear, and fit the environment. Now, picture yourself at a casual party with friends. Someone asks your opinion about the new movie you all saw. If you say, "My opinion is that the movie was okay," it might sound a bit strange. Your friends might wonder why you're speaking like a movie critic from an old newspaper. But if you say, "That movie was pretty cool, I really liked it," or "It was okay, but nothing special," that sounds much more natural. Liked it is a simple way of saying you enjoyed something, and nothing special means it wasn't very remarkable. So, the situation is everything. Native speakers naturally know when to use slang and phrases. They understand the difference between speaking with their boss, their friends, their family, or people they've just met. Learning to sound like a native speaker isn't just about learning the phrases. It's about learning when and how to use them. This means paying attention to the social situation, the relationship you have with the person you're speaking to, and the overall feeling of the conversation. Are you in a professional setting or a casual one? Are you talking to someone older or younger? Is the topic serious or lighthearted? Answering these questions will guide you in choosing the right language. Using a phrase like "hit the nail on the head," meaning to say or do exactly the right thing, is perfect when someone accurately describes a problem. But using slang like "chill out," meaning to relax, is best saved for friends who are getting upset. Becoming good at this is what truly separates someone who has learned English from someone who speaks English. It's about understanding the social cues and choosing language that fits the moment, making you sound not just knowledgeable, but also aware of social situations and natural. The dangers of trying too hard. While the goal is to sound like a native speaker, it's important to know the possible problems of trying too hard, especially with phrases and slang. There are a few common mistakes that can make you sound less natural, not more. One big mistake is using them too much. Imagine someone using a phrase in almost every sentence. "I was walking down the street and I saw a cat. It was raining really hard, so I decided to get out of the rain. I went into a shop and guess what? It was a good thing, because I met my friend who was feeling sad. We decided to go out and have a great time." While many of these phrases are correct, using so many in a short time can sound overwhelming and unnatural. It's like putting too much salt in your food. It ruins the taste. Native speakers use phrases and slang naturally, mixed with regular language. They don't force them into every possible spot. Another big problem is using them incorrectly. This happens when you use a phrase or slang term wrongly, either because you don't know its exact meaning or because you don't understand the situation. Remember Maria and in the soup? If she had tried to use it in a formal business report, it would have been wrong. Or imagine someone trying to say break a leg, which means good luck, especially for a performance to someone who is already injured. That would be very awkward and unkind. Using these phrases wrongly can make you sound confused or even silly, which is the opposite of sounding like a confident native speaker. Then there's the issue of using outdated or wrong slang. Language changes all the time. Slang that was popular 10 years ago might sound old-fashioned or even strange today. For example, using words like groovy or far out popular in the 1960s and 70s in casual conversation today would likely make you sound like you're trying too hard or that you're not up to date. Also, some slang terms are specific to certain age groups or types of people. Using them when you don't belong to that group can feel forced or even a bit disrespectful. The key is to find a balance. Learn phrases and slang, understand their meanings, and practice using them in the right situations. But always listen to how native speakers use them. Pay attention to how often they use them and in what situations. Aim to blend them in naturally rather than forcing them. The goal is to make your communication better, not to make it confusing. When used thoughtfully and appropriately, phrases and slang are your greatest helpers in sounding like a native speaker. But like any powerful tool, they must be used with skill and awareness. Becoming good at these colorful expressions is not just about remembering them. It's about developing an ear for Englishes. It's truly spoken. It's about understanding the rhythm, the flow, and the cultural heart of the language. But to truly use this power, we must first understand the different types of these non-literal phrases and where they come from. Let's look at the different worlds of phrases and slang. Common idioms to know. English has many colorful phrases that don't mean what the words say. We call these idioms. They are like secret codes that people who speak English all the time use. If you don't know them, talking can be confusing. But learning them is like getting a special key to understand English better. They help you sound more natural and make talking much easier, just like how people really talk. Think about when you first started learning English. You probably learned words like run, eat, or happy. These are basic words. But idioms are like the decorations and furniture that make a house feel like a home. They add personality and show feelings in a way that simple words sometimes can't. People use them so much in movies, songs, and talking every day that knowing them is a big step to speaking English like a native. Let's start with the story. When I was first learning English, I heard my friend Sarah say, "Oh no, I have to bite the bullet and tell my boss I made a mistake." I pictured someone biting a metal object. It sounded painful and strange. I couldn't understand why anyone would do that. Sarah saw my confused face and laughed. "It just means," she explained, "that you have to face a hard or unpleasant thing because you have to." Suddenly it made sense. She wasn't going to hurt herself. She just meant she had to be brave and tell her boss something bad. That moment of understanding was so exciting. It showed me how strong these special phrases are and how much easier things become when you know them. Idioms are everywhere. Remember, idioms are not rare or fancy words. They are part of everyday English. You hear them when people are happy, sad, excited, or upset. They appear in casual talks with friends, in meetings at work, in books you read, and especially in the TV shows and movies you watch. When someone says, "Let's call it a day," they don't mean they are going to shout those words. They mean it's time to stop working or doing something for the rest of the day. Or if you are very tired, you might say, "I'm beat." This doesn't mean something hit you. It just means you are very tired. Putting idioms together to learn them easily. Learning a long list of idioms all at once can be too much. So, let's put some common ones into groups based on the ideas they show. This will make them easier to understand and remember. Idioms about feelings and emotions. Sometimes, simple words like sad or happy don't fully show how we feel. Idioms help us show these feelings more clearly. Feeling under the weather. What the words say. Imagine being under a rain cloud. What it really means. This idiom means feeling a little bit sick or not well. It's usually not serious, just a feeling that you're not quite right. What someone might think. Someone might think you are really outside in bad weather. Why it sounds native. Using this phrase instead of I feel sick sounds more normal and less direct. It's a softer way to say you're not feeling 100%. Example. I don't think I'll come to the party tonight. I'm feeling a bit under the weather. Other similar idioms. You might also hear feeling a bit off or not feeling myself. Feeling a bit off is very close to under the weather. Not feeling myself can be used for being sick or feeling sad. On cloud 9. What the words say. Floating high up in the sky on a cloud. What it really means. This means being very, very happy and joyful, often because something great happened. What someone might think. People might imagine you sitting on a cloud. Why it sounds native. It's a wonderful way to show pure happiness, much more excited than just saying I'm happy. Example. She was on cloud 9 after she got accepted into her dream university. Other similar idioms. Other ways to say you're very happy are over the moon or walking on air. Over the moon means almost the same thing with the same strong feeling. Walking on air also shows great happiness and a feeling of being light. Let off steam. What the words say. Imagine steam coming out of a pot or a pipe. What it really means. This means doing or saying something to release strong feelings like anger or stress, so you can relax. What someone might think. Someone might think you are actually letting steam out of your body. Why it sounds native. It's a common and lively way to talk about needing to get rid of stress or anger. Example, after a stressful week at work, he went for a long run to let off steam. Other similar idioms. You could also blow off steam, which means the same thing. Another idea is to vent, which means to express your anger or upset strongly. Idioms about time. Time is something we talk about a lot, and idioms help us describe it in many ways. Once in a blue moon. What the words say. A moon that looks blue, which is very rare. What it really means. This means something happens very, very rarely, almost never. What someone might think. People might expect to see a real blue moon in the sky. Why it sounds native. It's a beautiful and common way to say something doesn't happen often. Much more interesting than just saying rarely. Example, my brother lives far away, so I only see him once in a blue moon. Other similar idioms. You might also hear hardly ever or very seldom. Hardly ever is a simpler way to say the same thing. Very seldom is a bit more formal. Time flies. What the words say. Imagine time having wings and flying away fast. What it really means. This means that time seems to go by very quickly, especially when you are having fun or are busy. What someone might think. It's hard to think of this literally, but the feeling it gives is important. Why it sounds native. This is a feeling many people have, and this idiom captures how time seems to disappear surprisingly fast. Example, I can't believe it's already December. Time flies when you're having fun. Other similar idioms. The clock is ticking means time is running out and you need to hurry. In the blink of an eye means something happens extremely fast. Beat the clock. What the words say. Trying to hit or win against a clock. What it really means. This means to finish something just before the time is up or the deadline passes. What someone might think. Someone might think you are trying to break a clock. Why it sounds native. It creates a feeling of needing to hurry and compete against time, which happens in many situations. Example, we had to finish the project by 5 p.m., so we were really trying to beat the clock. Other similar idioms. Against the clock means you are in a hurry and don't have much time. Run out of time means you did not finish before the deadline. Idioms about success and failure. Reaching goals or having problems is a big part of life, and idioms offer many ways to talk about it. Hit the nail on the head. What the words say. Imagine hitting a nail perfectly straight with a hammer. What it really means. This means to describe exactly what is causing a situation or problem, or to say something that is exactly right. What someone might think. Someone might think you were talking about building things. Why it sounds native. It's a very good way to say someone has understood or said something perfectly. Example, you said the main problem is not talking enough. You really hit the nail on the head. Other similar idioms, you got it right or that's exactly it are simpler ways to say you agree. Spot on is another informal idiom meaning exactly correct. Bite off more than you can chew. What the words say. Trying to put too much food in your mouth at once. What it really means. This means to take on a job or promise that is too big or too hard for you to do. What someone might think. As in my earlier story, people might think you're literally eating too much. Why it sounds native. It's a clear picture that shows the idea of agreeing to do too much. Example, I said I would lead 3 projects at once, but I think I bit off more than I could chew. Other similar idioms. Take on too much is a more direct way to say this. Overwhelmed describes the feeling you get when you have bitten off more than you can chew. Get something off your chest. What the words say. Imagine lifting something heavy from your chest. What it really means. This means to talk about something that has been worrying you or bothering you for a long time, often because you need to tell someone. What someone might think. Someone might think you have a problem with your chest. Why it sounds native. It perfectly describes the feeling of relief after sharing a problem or a secret. Example, thanks for listening. I really needed to get that off my chest. Other similar idioms. Confide in someone means to share a secret or private thing. Unburden yourself is a more formal way to say the same thing. Idioms about understanding and communication. These idioms are about how we understand things or how we talk to each other. Get the ball rolling. What the words say. Making a ball start moving. What it really means. This means to start an activity, a project, or a process. It's about making things begin. What someone might think. Someone might think you are really starting a game with a ball. Why it sounds native. It's an energetic and positive way to talk about beginning something. Example, let's get the ball rolling with planning the party. Other similar idioms. Kick things off is another common idiom with the same meaning. Get started is a simpler, more direct phrase. See eye to eye. What the words say. Looking directly into someone else's eyes. What it really means. This means to agree with someone completely. What someone might think. It's unlikely to be misunderstood literally when people are talking about agreement. Why it sounds native. It suggests a deep level of understanding and sharing the same ideas. Example, my sister and I don't always see eye to eye on politics. This means they often disagree. Luckily, my boss and I see eye to eye on this project. This means they agree. Other similar idioms. Be on the same page means to have the same understanding or agree. Agree with someone is the most basic way to say this. Put two and two together. What the words say. Adding the numbers 2 and 2. What it really means. This means to understand what is happening or what someone is thinking by using the facts or clues you have. It's about figuring something out. What someone might think. Someone might think you are asking them to do a simple math problem. Why it sounds native. It's a clever way to say someone has figured out a situation without being told directly. Example, she saw the dirt on his shoes and noticed he was late, so she put 2 and 2 together and knew he'd been playing soccer. Other similar idioms, figure out or work out, are simpler ways to show understanding. Connect the dots is a very similar idiom, meaning to link pieces of information. Meaning vs. literal words. The main problem. The biggest challenge with idioms is that their meaning is completely different from the meaning of the single words. When you hear break a leg, your brain might try to connect break and leg to an injury. But in English, it means good luck. This difference is why idioms are so hard for learners. They make you think beyond the exact meaning of words. Every time you hear an idiom, ask yourself, what do these words mean exactly? Then ask, what could this possibly mean in this situation? Often, the words around the idiom and the situation itself will give you hints. For example, if someone is about to go on stage for a show and their friend says, break a leg, the situation of performing and wishing good luck helps you guess the meaning. If someone spilled coffee on their new white shirt and said, oh great, I really spilled the beans, you know they aren't talking about real beans. The situation of making a mistake or a problem suggests they mean they told a secret or made a mistake. Context is key. Understanding idioms is not just about memorizing lists. It's about understanding how they are used in real life. The situation, how the speaker says it, and the sentences around it all play a big part. Let's use the idiom bite the bullet again. If you heard it in a history class talking about soldiers going into battle, the meaning of facing something hard would be clear. If you heard it when people were talking about choosing a difficult but needed diet plan, the meaning of accepting an unpleasant task would also fit. The situation helps you understand the right meaning. Imagine reading, the team was losing badly. The coach knew he had to change something. He decided to throw in the towel. Here, throw in the towel doesn't mean the coach actually threw a towel. The situation of a losing team and the coach needing to make a change suggests giving up or admitting defeat. Real examples in use. Let's look at a few more examples to see how these idioms work in short talks. Situation 1. Planning a party. Person A. So, how should we start planning Maya's birthday party? Person B. Well, first, we need to pick a theme. Let's get the ball rolling with that. Here, get the ball rolling means to start the process of planning. Situation 2. Feeling unwell. Person A. Are you coming to the movie tonight? Person B. I don't think so. I'm feeling a bit under the weather today. Maybe next time. Under the weather clearly shows that person B is not feeling well. Situation 3. A hard choice. Person A. I really don't want to give him the bad news, but someone has to. Person B. I know it's hard, but you'll just have to bite the bullet and do it. Bite the bullet here means to face the difficult situation bravely. Why these idioms make you sound more native. Using idioms correctly shows that you understand English more deeply. It means you know not just the words, but also the cultural ways and how people who speak English naturally express themselves. When you use an idiom like on cloud 9 instead of just very happy, you add more feeling and color to your speech. It makes you sound more sure of yourself and fluent. It helps you connect with native speakers more personally because you are using the same language tools they use every day. It's like learning the secret handshake of English speakers. Now that we've looked at some of the most common idioms you'll hear, you are better able to understand everyday English. But knowing is just the first step. The next important part of speaking like a native is learning slang, those informal, often quickly changing words and phrases that add color and personality to our language. Let's explore the exciting world of slang next. Popular slang words. English is a lively language. Slang makes it sound very alive. Slang words are like secret codes that people use when they talk in a relaxed way. These words don't always mean exactly what they sound like, but they make talking feel friendlier, faster, and more real. Learning slang is like getting a special pass to understand everyday English. It helps you get jokes, follow your friends, and feel more at ease when you're not being formal. When you first started learning English, you probably learned basic words like happy, sad, eat, and go. Those are the main building blocks. But when people talk with their friends, they often use different words. They might say someone is stoked instead of very happy, or they might say chill instead of relax. These slang words are not usually in textbooks. They change fast and depend on who you are talking to and where you are. That's why learning them can be a little hard, but it's also very good because it helps you connect with people better. It's important to know that slang is always changing. What sounds cool today might sound old-fashioned next month. Slang can also be very specific to certain groups. For example, young people might use slang that their parents don't know, or people in one city might use words that people in another city have never heard. That's why it's good to start with slang that many people use in many different casual situations. We want to give you words that you can use right away. Using slang the right way is like a magic key. It can help you make friends and feel like you truly belong. When you understand and use slang that your friends use, it shows them you are paying attention and understand their world. It helps build trust and makes talking flow much more easily. It's a way of saying, I'm part of this group and I understand how we talk. It makes you sound more natural, like you're really having a conversation. But it's also important to be careful. Using slang in the wrong place can be like wearing a swimsuit to a fancy party. It just doesn't fit. If you use slang in a job interview, or when talking to your boss, or with someone much older who doesn't use it, it can sound rude or just strange. Slang is best for informal times, when you are relaxed and comfortable with the people you are talking to. It's about choosing the right word for the right moment. Let's look at some popular slang words that people use a lot in everyday English. We will explain what they mean, how they feel, and how you can use them. Awesome. This is a very common and happy word. What it means: great, amazing, wonderful, very good. How it feels: it shows strong excitement and approval. It's more than just good. When to use it: when you see or experience something you really like. Example 1. Wow, that concert last night was awesome. This means, the concert was really good. Example 2. She got a perfect score on her test. That's awesome. This means, getting a perfect score is amazing. What it means: this word makes you feel a sense of wonder or amazement. In everyday talk, it often just means very good. The difference between good and awesome is how strong the feeling is. Good is a simple positive feeling, like a polite nod. Awesome is like a happy cheer. If someone tells you about their vacation and you say that's good, it's polite. But if you say that's awesome, it shows you are really impressed and happy for them. If you use it too much or for things that aren't that impressive, it might not sound sincere. For example, calling a plain cup of coffee awesome might sound a bit odd. It's best for things that truly impress or excite you. Cool. This is a very useful and lasting slang word. What it means: good, fine, okay, stylish, calm, not worried. How it feels: it can show you agree, that you approve, or that you are relaxed. It's usually a very positive and easygoing word. When to use it: to agree with someone, to say something is good or stylish, or to show you are relaxed about a situation. Example 1. Do you want to go to the movies tonight? Yeah, that sounds cool. This means, yes, that sounds good to me. Example 2. Her new haircut is really cool. This means, her new haircut looks stylish and good. Example 3. Don't worry about being late, it's cool. This means, it's okay, don't stress about it. What it means: cool is interesting because its meaning can change depending on how it's used. It's a calm word, meaning it doesn't show extreme feelings, but it's almost always positive. When used to agree, like sounds cool, it's a relaxed way of saying yes. It's not as excited as awesome, but friendlier than just okay. When you describe something as cool, like a jacket or a song, it means it's stylish, modern, and nice. The calm meaning is also important. If someone is worried and you say it's cool, you are telling them not to worry. The chance of using it wrong is small because cool is understood by almost everyone. But using it too much can make your speech sound a bit the same. It's a very flexible word for informal talk. Chill out. This phrase is all about relaxing. What it means: to relax, to calm down, to take it easy. How it feels: it suggests being calm, relaxed, and without stress. When to use it: when you want to relax, or when you want someone else to relax. Example 1. I'm going to go home and just chill after work. This means, I'm going to relax at home. Example 2. Hey, chill out. It's not a big deal. This means, calm down, don't get so upset. What it means: chill and chill out are about reducing stress. Chill on its own often means the act of relaxing, like let's chill tonight. Chill out is more often used to tell someone else to calm down. The feeling is one of peace and ease. It's the opposite of being stressed, angry, or too excited. If you tell someone to chill out, you are suggesting they take a deep breath and not overreact. It's a friendly way to ask someone to calm down, not a harsh command. If chill out is said in an angry way, it would mean something completely different and confrontational. But when said in a friendly, relaxed way, it's a sign of support. My bad. A quick way to say sorry. What it means: my mistake, I apologize, it was my fault. How it feels: it's a casual and light way to admit you made a small mistake. It's not for serious apologies. When to use it: for small mistakes like bumping into someone, forgetting something small, or saying the wrong thing. Example 1. Oops, I gave you the wrong change. My bad. This means, sorry, I made a mistake with the change. Example 2. Did you forget to buy milk? Yeah, my bad. This means, yes, I forgot, and I'm sorry about that small oversight. What it means: my bad is a very informal and modern way to admit you made a small mistake. It's much less formal than I apologize or I'm sorry. The tone is important. It's meant to be short and admit fault without making a big deal. It shows you know you made a mistake but don't want to focus on it. The feeling is one of casual self-correction. It's important not to use this for big mistakes. If you really hurt someone's feelings or caused a major problem, my bad would sound like you don't care. It works best for everyday slip-ups. It's like a quick wave of the hand admitting a small error, unlike a formal apology. Hush, 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 no worries. This phrase means it's okay. What it means: it's okay, don't worry about it, I understand. How it feels: it shows a sense of ease, understanding, and acceptance. It's a very friendly and relaxed response. When to use it: when someone apologizes to you for something small, or when you want to tell someone not to stress about something. Example 1. Sorry I'm a few minutes late. No worries, I just got here myself. This means, it's okay, don't worry about being late. Example 2. Thanks for helping me move those boxes. No worries, happy to help. This means, you're welcome, and don't feel like you owe me anything. What it means: no worries is similar to no problem or it's okay, but it sounds warmer and more reassuring. It's used a lot in places like Australia and New Zealand, but people understand it everywhere. It's a way of saying that the other person's issue isn't a burden to you. When someone says no worries, they want to make the other person feel comfortable. The feeling is one of kindness and ease. If someone apologizes for a small inconvenience, saying no worries makes the situation less awkward. It's the opposite of making someone feel guilty. It's unlikely to be misused, but using it too much might make your speech sound a bit repetitive, though always friendly. Vibe. This word describes the feeling or atmosphere of a place or situation. What it means: the atmosphere, the feeling, the mood of a place, person, or situation. How it feels: it refers to the overall emotional tone or energy. When to use it: to describe the general feeling you get from something or someone. Example 1. This coffee shop has a really good vibe. This means, the atmosphere in the coffee shop is pleasant and welcoming. Example 2. I didn't like his vibe, he seemed a bit untrustworthy. This means, I didn't get a good feeling from him. His personality seemed off. Example 3. Let's just hang out and get a good vibe going. This means, let's relax and create a positive, fun atmosphere. What it means: vibe is a great word because it captures a complex feeling in one word. It's about the invisible quality of a situation or person. You can't always explain why a place feels good or bad, but you can say it has a certain vibe. This word is very useful for describing how you feel about people, music, art, or places. The feeling it describes is personal. It's how you sense the atmosphere. If you say a party had a great vibe, you mean it was fun, energetic, and people were happy. If you say someone has a weird vibe, you mean they give off an uncomfortable or strange feeling. Using it for something very specific where a more exact word would be better might be a misuse, but generally, it's a flexible word for describing feelings and atmospheres. Lit. This is a very excited word for something amazing. What it means: exciting, amazing, excellent, fun. How it feels: it shows a high level of energy, excitement, and enjoyment. When to use it: to describe events, parties, or experiences that are very lively and fun. Example 1. That party last night was absolutely lit. This means, the party was incredibly fun and exciting. Example 2. This new song is lit. This means, this new song is really good and energetic. What it means: lit is a stronger word than cool or awesome. It's used for things that are very energetic and fun. It often means a party atmosphere or something that is extremely good and exciting. The feeling is one of high energy and happiness. It's a word that often goes with celebration. It's very different from something that is just pleasant. Lit suggests something much more lively and eye-catching. It's important to know that lit can sometimes be used in a way that means something is too much, but mostly it's used in a very positive and excited way. Using lit for something calm or boring would be wrong. It's a word that adds excitement to a description. Salty. This slang word describes someone who is upset or bitter. What it means: upset, annoyed, bitter, or holding a grudge, often over something small. How it feels. It shows a feeling of small annoyance or lasting bitterness. When to use it. When someone is grumpy or upset about something small, or when they seem jealous. Example 1. He's still mad because we beat him at video games. He's so salty. This means he's upset and bitter about losing. Example 2. She got rejected for the job and now she's being salty about everyone else's success. This means she's resentful and bitter because she didn't get the job. What it means. The word salty is interesting because it uses a physical feeling, the taste of salt, to describe an emotional state. It's not just being angry. It's a specific kind of lasting annoyance or bitterness, often over something that seems unimportant to others. It suggests a bit of being petty or jealous. If someone is salty, they might be complaining, being passive-aggressive, or just in a bad mood because of a disappointment. The feeling is definitely negative, like a sourness. It's different from being furious. It's more about a constant, low-level unhappiness or resentment. It's the opposite of happy, but it's also different from sad. Salty has an edge of annoyance. Calling someone who is truly sad salty would be insensitive. It's for those smaller, personal disappointments that leave a bitter taste. Ghosting. This term means suddenly stopping all communication. What it means: to suddenly stop all communication with someone without explaining why, especially in dating or friendships. How it feels. It describes an action that can make the other person feel confused, hurt, and ignored. When to use it. To describe the act of someone disappearing from communication. Example 1. We went on 3 dates, and then he just ghosted me. I never heard from him again. This means he stopped all contact without any reason. Example 2. I thought we were good friends, but she totally ghosted me after that argument. This means she stopped talking to me completely. What it means. Ghosting is a fairly new slang term that describes a specific behavior today. It means ending a relationship or connection by suddenly disappearing like a ghost. The important parts are that it happens suddenly and without any reason given. This action makes the person who is ghosted feel confused and often rejected. A person who is ghosted feels negative emotions, confusion, hurt, and a sense of not being respected. The word itself describes the action of disappearing. It's a modern word for an old behavior, but ghosting perfectly captures the feeling of being left in the dark. It's a strong word because it implies completely ending contact with no explanation. Using it for any situation where someone is just busy would be wrong. Ghosting means deliberately cutting off contact. This is a short word that means someone is the best. What it means: greatest of all time. It's a short form of these words. How it feels. It shows the highest level of admiration and respect for someone's skills or achievements. When to use it. To describe someone who is thought to be the absolute best in their field. Example 1. Many people think Michael Jordan is the GOAT of basketball. This means he is thought to be the best basketball player ever. Example 2. She just won her 5th championship in a row. She's the GOAT. This means she is the greatest of all time in her sport. What it means. GOAT is a word made from the first letters of other words. Here, it means greatest of all time. It's used to say someone is the absolute best, with no one equal in their skill or achievement. This isn't just saying someone is good. It's calling them a legend. The feeling is one of extreme admiration. It's a very strong statement, usually for people who are truly exceptional and have been the best in their field for a long time. It's much stronger than good or great. Good is positive, great is very positive, but good is the highest. It's the top. Using it too casually for someone who is just okay would make the word lose its power. It should be saved for true stars. Bet? This is a flexible word used to show agreement or that you understand what it means. Okay, all right, for sure. I agree. You got it. How it feels. It shows confidence, confirmation, or agreement. It's a quick and confident way to respond. When to use it. To confirm that you will do something, to agree with a statement, or to acknowledge a plan. Example 1. Can you pick up some snacks on your way over? Bet. This means, yes, I will definitely do that. Example 2. This is going to be a tough game. Bet. This means, yes, I agree, it will be tough. Example 3. We're meeting at 7 p.m. Bet. This means, okay, I know the plan and will be there. What it means. Bet is a really interesting slang word because it's short, strong, and can be used in a few ways, all related to confirming or agreeing. It often suggests confidence or certainty. When someone asks you to do something and you say bet, it means you can count on me or I will do it. When you use it to agree with something, it's like saying exactly or no doubt. It sounds sure. The feeling is often positive and ready to act, like you firmly agree. It's a very casual word, so you wouldn't use it in a formal setting. Using it when a more detailed answer is needed, or if bet sounds like you're not taking something seriously, would be a misuse. But for quick confirmations and agreements in casual chat, it's very effective. Sus. This word is used for anything that seems suspicious. What it means. Suspicious, questionable, shady. How it feels. It suggests doubt, distrust, or a feeling that something is not quite right. When to use it. When you think someone or something is not honest or trustworthy. Example 1. He's been acting really quiet today. It's a bit sus. This means, his behavior is suspicious. Example 2. That story he told sounds sus to me. This means, the story sounds questionable or unlikely to be true. What it means, sus is a shorter version of suspicious. It's a quick and easy way to show doubt or distrust. When something is sus, it makes you wonder if it's real or honest. Conclusion: you made it to the end. This is the last chapter of Speak English Like a Native. We learned so much together. You've taken a big step to speak English smoothly. Remember why we started? We wanted to do more than just know words. We wanted to really use and understand English like people who grew up speaking it. We wanted to show that learning special phrases, like idioms and slang, is not just about adding a few words. It's about being able to talk and understand much better. In this book, we looked at many different idioms and slang words. We saw how these special phrases are used every day. They are quick ways native speakers use to say things with feeling and make them clear. You learned that knowing these phrases is not just a little extra help. It's a main tool to really connect with English speakers and understand the small, important things they say. Learning a language is hard. Learning idioms and slang can feel like trying to solve a puzzle. You kept trying and worked through this book. That shows you were dedicated, and you should be proud of that. We found that the real power of idioms and slang is in their hidden meanings. You don't always understand them word by word. Instead, they create pictures in your mind, show feelings, and say complex things with just a few words. For example, break a leg doesn't mean you want someone to get hurt. It's a nice way to say good luck. Bite the bullet doesn't mean someone is eating metal. It means facing a hard time with bravery. When you begin to hear and use idioms and slang, you are doing more than just learning new words. You are building stronger connections with people. You will understand jokes better, get cultural jokes, and join conversations more easily. It's like being on the outside looking in versus being right in the middle of the action. This is how you start to sound like a native speaker. Native speakers don't stop to think about every idiom they say. It just comes out naturally. By learning and practicing these phrases, you are training your ears and mind to think and speak in a way that sounds more natural. You will stop thinking in your language and then trying to say it in English. You will start to think directly in English. Grammar and basic words are important, but idioms and slang are like special spices that make your English go from just okay to really good and interesting. They make your speech flow better and are more fun to listen to. This book gave you the tools and knowledge to start understanding and using English idioms and slang. But remember, there are always new expressions in English and they change. Think of this book as your beginning. You now have the confidence and the basic knowledge to learn even more. Keep listening to English all around you. Watch movies and TV shows, listen to podcasts and music, and read books and articles. Pay close attention to how idioms and slang are used when people really talk. Don't just listen for single words. Listen for phrases that sound interesting. When you hear something new, write it down. Try to guess what it means from the conversation before you look it up. The most important thing is to use what you learn. Don't be afraid to try out new idioms and slang when you speak. Start in places where you feel comfortable. Then slowly build your confidence. Always remember that it's important to know when and where to use phrases. An idiom that works in a casual chat might not be good for a formal meeting. Mistakes happen when you learn. If you use an idiom the wrong way, don't feel bad. Most native speakers will still understand you. They might even help you by gently correcting you, which is another chance to learn. You can make your own notebook or a list on your phone. Write down the phrase, what it means, an example sentence, and where you learned it. By using idioms and slang, you are not just learning a language. You are getting a new way to see things, a new way to express yourself, and a deeper connection to the culture of English speakers. You are on your way to speaking English not just correctly, but with confidence and creativity. You now have the key to communicate in English in a richer and more detailed way. Believe in yourself to learn, adapt, and grow. The goal is not to be perfect right away, but to make steady progress and be brave enough to communicate. So go out there. Listen carefully, speak with courage, and enjoy the amazing world of English idioms and slang. Your journey to speaking English like a native has truly started. The language is yours to explore and master. Happy speaking! We wish you the very best on your journey with language.